Computer is a super electronic. Computer is a super electronic machine. It accepts data, it processes data, it stores data, and produces useful information. Hi, everybody. My name is Mr. Nate, and today we're going to be looking at the ICT lesson review for your first week and second week lessons. I'm sure you want me to remind you what your teachers taught you in your ICT lessons on your first week of resumption and second week of resumption. This is to help you remember all the things your teacher taught you and help you to know what the teacher has taught you better. Now, before we continue, I'd like you to quickly go down your screen and follow us on YouTube and also like this video. When you do that, it will help us to always give you information that is needed for you to learn your ICT better. So before we continue, quickly go and follow us on YouTube and like this video. Have you done that? Okay, good. Now, like I told you before, we're looking at the lesson review for week 1 and week 2 on the ICT classes you've had so far. So this lesson is meant for those of us that are in grade 2 or year 2, as the case may be. The topic of this lesson is standard definition of computer, and the reference will be taken from your ICT textbook, pages 5 to 8. Now, what are the learning objectives? At the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain what ICT means or what the computer is in your own words. You should also be able to explain how computer accepts data, how computer processes data, how computer stores data, and how computer produces useful information. Okay, so what is computer? I told you already. If you remember, I sang a song, and I would sing the song again. I'll sing it once, and I want you to sing it after me. And that song will explain what the computer system is. The song is actually defining the computer. So put the computer definition into a song so you can learn it better. Now let me read it out before I sing. It says, computer is an electronic machine that accepts, processes, stores, and produces useful information. Now I'm gonna sing the song right now. Computer is a super electronic. Computer is a super electronic machine. It accepts data, it processes data, it stores data, and produces useful information. We just learned the computer song together, and I want you to sing this song over and over again. And then after you have learned the song, then put it back into words and simply say, computer is an electronic machine that accepts data, processes data, stores data, and produces useful information. Now let me explain this further. Now we said computer is an electronic machine that accepts data. So what is data? Data are raw facts. And when we say data are raw facts, let me first tell you what are they or what is data. Data includes your numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 till infinity. Your A, B, C to Z. Your signs like your minus, your division sign, your equals to sign, your less than and greater than sign, all are signs and symbols. And then sound. Different sound are also data. So data can be referred to as incomplete information. For instance, if you put ABC, it doesn't make a meaning. But if you put CUP, it makes a meaning, right? CUP is cup, right? But ABC is not an information. PUC is not an if that's POC. It doesn't really have a meaning that we know. So when we say data are raw facts, data in themselves are not useful until we put them together to make a meaning. For instance, on your keyboard, you have the letters of the alphabet scattered all over your computer keyboard. You also have the numbers scattered. They are data. They become useful when you start arranging them together to make a meaning. And that is the work of the computer. Computer help you to process them, and when computer is processing data, it means computer is rearranging your data in order for it to make sense. For instance, on the keyboard you can see ASDFGHJKL. It's not making any sense. But when you now put SIDE, it becomes side. Or when you put ANGRY, it becomes angry. And I'm not angry, but I would just put HAPPY for happy. So when we use the computer system to arrange or organize our data, the computer makes it useful information. So don't forget, data are raw facts. They become useful when we use the computer to arrange them properly. A computer cannot work on its own until someone sends data into it. Now, this could be in form of typing or using the mouse to perform a task. I'm going to explain that to us already. I've told you what data is. I told you examples of data include 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 till infinity. I also told you example of data is alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F. I also told you that example of data include sign and symbols. You can see the less than, the greater than, the question mark, the slash, and the other signs. And you can see pictures. Different pictures are also examples of data. You can see the picture of the telephone. You can see the picture of the apple on different books. You can see the picture of your toast machine and the toasted bread or the bread. How computer process data? I already explained a bit of that to you, but let me explain further. A computer user is called the human ware. Anybody who can use the computer is called the human ware. The computer accepts this data and then computer polishes it or changes it into useful information and produces the useful information. Now, a computer also gives the processed information back to the computer user in a well-organized manner. I've explained that already. The computer system also has the capacity to store information for a very long time. For instance, our human brain or the human brain cannot store so many information. For instance, can you remember what happened on your first birthday? You can't remember because your brain cannot store it. But if you go to your mommy or your daddy's phone, you will see everything that happened on your first birthday, which means the computer system has the memory to store a lot of things for as long as possible. Now, that is what I need you to understand in this particular lesson. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the system unit. Now, what is the learning of, okay, so we just finished talking about your lesson in week 1, and then I want to quickly move to week 2 and talk a bit about week 2 before our time will be up. Now, In week 2, we talked about the system unit. Let me show us the picture of the system unit. This is the system unit. This is the system unit. You can see the system unit here. You can see another system unit here. You can see another system unit here. But before we go further in this class, what is the learning objective? We should be able to explain what the system unit is. We should also be able to explain the uses of the system unit. We should be able to identify the CPU and its components. We should be able to state the full meaning and mention the full meaning of, we should be able to state the full meaning of CPU. We should also be able to mention the part of the system unit and differentiate between the system unit and the CPU. I'm going to explain that in a very short time. Now, the system unit is the computer part that controls everything that happens in the computer. The system unit is the box where all processing takes place. Do you understand? All of the computer parts are connected to the system unit. Now, let me explain further. Now, these are system units. We have two types of system units. One is the desktop system unit, which you would always lie on the desk, which is always on the desk. Just like you can see, it is lying down on this table. This is the system unit. It is lying down on the table or on the desk. So we call it desktop system unit. Now we have this particular system unit that is standing on its own. We call it tower system unit. Now, some of you would call this system unit a CPU. Please, this is not a CPU. It is called the system unit. Now look at the CPU here. Now the CPU is found inside the system unit. The CPU is the brain of the computer. It is found inside the system unit. Now, this is the picture of the system unit. You find the CPU inside this system unit. The CPU is the brain of the computer, but the system unit is like the mother of all, or the father of all the computer parts. So you connect the mouse to the system unit, you connect the joystick to the system unit, you connect the keyboard to the system unit, and every other computer part to the system unit. Now, before we end today's class, I want us to quickly look at the part of the system unit. Now we have the CD or the DVD-ROM here. This is where we can insert our CD and our DVD. In our subsequent class, I'll teach you how to insert and use your CD and DVD on the computer system. Now we also have the floppy disk drive. The floppy disk drive is actually outdated. You may not find it on any computer system anymore because people don't use it anymore. Now we have the power button. This is the floppy disk, in case you don't know. And then we have the power button here where we can turn on the computer system, but we don't use the power button to turn off the computer. We only use it to turn on the computer. And then we have the USB port that we can connect some other accessories to the computer system. Now this brings us to the end of the lesson, but I want us to quickly do the activity that you find in your textbook. The activity says that you should identify the part of the computer system, and I've helped you to identify it. This is the system, this is a CD or DVD-ROM, this is the floppy disk drive, this is the power button, and these are the USB ports. Now I'm sure you can recognize the system unit anytime you see it, and you know the difference between the two system units. This is the desktop system unit, this is the tower system unit, and this is CPU, which is the brain of the computer. Before we go, let me quickly tell you the full meaning of CPU. CPU means Central Processing Unit. CPU means Central Processing unit. CPU means central processing unit. And that will bring us to the end of today's class. Please don't forget the computer song. Sing it over and over again. Computer is a super electronic. Computer is a super electronic machine. Now please complete the song. I'll be listening to you while you're singing. Bye for now. See you next week.